All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread Podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben. It's our 115th episode. We got Grendel Batman Part 2 with special guest Tony McMillen. Say hello, Tony.
Hey, gang, how you doing? It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, man, great to have you back. Tony joined us on the original Hunter Rose Batman team up, and so we're like, let's bring the old boy back and check in with him, I guess. So, Tony, what's been going on? You're an amazing artist and creator yourself. Tell us.
Super kind of you to say. Things are great, man. I got a lot of good news. So real quick, issue 12 of my comic book series Creatures, the final issue, is done. I'm mailing out issues today. Very excited to be completely done with the project. I'm very proud of it. I think, people, it's going to be, yeah, I'm just glad it's done, but I think it's actually pretty good too. And then the other big thing I want to say is that my book Attaboy, I did that book about 3 years ago. Actually, it's found a home with a publisher. So it's going to be announced, but Mad Cave Studios is releasing Attaboy. So Attaboy will be in all the stores internationally. It's gonna be nuts. So I'm very excited to have the potential for a bigger audience to check out that book and see my work. So things are pretty good right now.
Wow, that's huge.
Congratulations, Tony.
Yes.
Thanks guys, for real.
What size is that book going to be put out? I remember when it originally came out, it was nice, oversized.
What's really cool, man, is so they're going to be a regular edition, which is normal size, but then later next year, there's going to be we're going to call it the Power Up edition. It's really big. I think it's going to make 25 to 30 pages of making of in the back. And it might even be hardcover, and that's going to be a limited run, so it's going to be pretty primo. But I did new covers for them, and I think it's going to be, if you already have Attaboy, you still might want to check out these editions because there's some extra cool stuff in the back and whatnot.
That's amazing. It's the Power Up edition, much like the Masters edition of Grendel Devil by the Deed, coming to a store near you on November 22nd. So when this comes out, that'll be like next week. So that'll be huge. Oh my God. Was that segue good or jangly?
Oh, it's flawless. Are you kidding me? That was amazing. No
I'm
lube.
Glad I had to ask. Yeah,
no, I love it.
Dude, that's so sick. I'm super excited. Where can everyone find that stuff from you?
Serious Creatures, my books are all available on my website, which is on Etsy, and you just look at my name, you'll find it. And Attaboy will be out through Mad Cave next year, so it'll be a bit, but it's gonna be all the stores. You can pre-order it, do the whole thing like a normal comic book, like a real book. You can get it in the regular ways.
Hell yeah. All right. And we'll put Tony's links down in the comments. Ben, what about you? What you been up to, bud?
Good. A lot of teaching, and I finished my 8-page story for Doug Latino's Wait It Gets Worse with Gideon Kendall. That's coming out through Cosmic Line. Just sent that in last week. Yes. And we had the Batman Year Wa on screen now, came out, and that's a nonprofit arts grant funding fan project. That's a celebration, send up, and all around study parody of Batman Year One. We were all in it, and it was like 2 years in the making, so I'm very excited about that.
Good looking cover on that thing.
Yes, great looking cover.
Tony did the covers. Eli, what and my art show is up for the final weeks at 42 Eldridge Street at Love Not Money, Chinatown, New York City.
Check it out if you're in New York City. And send some pics, honestly. What's up with me? Just continuing to put books into the publisher, into the print. This week we went to print with the Big Bang Comics, the Big Bang Comics anthology I put together with MFT, Michael Fitzgerald Troy, and a ton of amazing artists. And we got to work with Gary Carlson and Chris Ecker from the original Big Bang, which was super awesome. Working on the new Ghost Agents. 2 new books that came recently, Paraphrenic by Gary Kramer from Cumberland, Maryland, my hometown.
Shout outs Cumberland.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, he was the first indie comic I ever bought in my life when I was like 10 years old, and I connected with him recently, and we published his new book right here. It's all available on Cosmic Lion Productions. We got another book, Frankie Boy Monster, coming, which is the young dude who finds time to meet with me after math class when he's over. He's a freshman in college. And we got a brand new all ages book coming. And both of those books are going to be at LA Comic-Con, first weekend of December. If anyone's in LA, come out and see me. I'll have a limited number of the Grendel zines that I have left over as well. I found a chunk.
Oh, big show coming up. Well done.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be huge. All right, cool. So without any further ado, let's get a Grendel in and get to that theme song.
It's like the devil is my best friend. 100 rows with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to that theme song, Manus and Zach. All right, Ben, take it away. Where do you want to begin?
I want to ask Tony when he read this book. I know that Tony is a huge, like, 90s video store clerk, cinema omnivore action lover. Tony, wasn't the name of your podcast?
Too young for this shit. Yeah, too young for this shit.
Weaned on Dynamite. And so I know that Tony's going to be able to go to town on this one, but I really want to hear. I'm hoping this is like a formative book and you're watching this and then watching Under Siege. Tell us.
Under Siege 2. No, this book is definitely of its time. I mean, it's 96. You can feel it, not just the coloring, but also, I mean, I think Wagner is pulling from some Terminator T2 stuff, Prime a little bit, and just some of the action sequences. And for the most part, I really enjoy a lot of that stuff. I'm trying to remember, like, I definitely bought a Grendel Prime book first, and then I think I might have retroactively then saw the first Hunter Rose Batman team up versus book. But then I think I don't know when I found this one, but what I really loved about this book is I was reading this and I was at that point really into the Hunter Rose mythos. Like I was really like, and I hadn't quite figured out that like much of that is not really depicted. It is described or discussed, but you don't see it. And so this quick spoiler, when it comes to the skull, the true skull, and the origin of the big hole in it, and it's like this book, I was like, wait, this crossover is the origin of that? That's the hole in the skull? It's like that's worth my admission alone. It's like so fun. Like I most crossovers are, they're not canon, they don't really matter. And I was like, that's really neat to go, no, Batman and Robin are part of Hunter S. Rose's like whole saga. They're a huge part. And I was like, that's kind of cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I think I read the book like 6 times throughout my life, but I think the first time was in the 90s. I kind of feel it was probably late 90s, a little after it came out. Eli, when did you read it?
Yeah, it's about the same for me. Because I went through my like big Hunter Rose, like when I got into it, it was actually the early 2000s when I first got into it. So I was soaking up everything, and I bought this trade that I'm running off of right now. And I remember voraciously just going through it and how the super stylistic change of like early Matt with Hunter to this like later style, because there's clearly a different style in these two books by a lot. And I don't know, I just think it's amazing. And it is cool how like there's no like, we start in Gotham, we know this world, there's no like belaboring the point of like setting up both worlds and how does one get to the other. And us coming hot off the Devil Quest stuff and seeing how he just evaporates into this giant ball of light, and then we come right into this. It's just like it's a seamless kind of thing to see that he disappeared into here and then went right back to where we last left him with what's his name, Blue. So it's crazy.
I think that this, Eli, is also the first digitally colored Grendel story chronologically.
Oh, interesting. And you can kind of tell that for sure. And some of the gradients on faces and stuff.
Yeah. Tony said that it was colored of its time, and I agree with that. But it's also colored a lot like the blue line guys were doing on the ongoing series, for example. Like it's not too far off from its approach, and I think that might be like Matt's art direction, sort of coming through a
like,
little bit.
Let's
maybe.
use this new technology, but still try to make it look like the old way.
Well, also Bob edits this book.
Bob Pinaha. Bob Shrek.
Bob Shrek.
Sorry,
Bob Shrek. I'm sorry, Bob Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I didn't.
Letterer.
I did not recognize the letter or colorist name, and I think it looks like everyone's doing a very nice job. It also looks like the trade is, like you said, scanned maybe from books themselves. There's something's off register, and so the contrast between the coloring in this book and the work that Joe Matt does on Batman Grendel 1 is really pronounced, but so is Matt's own inking style.
Yeah.
Colors
by Gregory Wright and lettering by Sean Conant. Sean has done Mage and shit.
Right.
He's a major Matt co-worker, I feel like. All right, cool. So the story begins in a very Dark Knight Returns kind of 90s Spawn fashion, with the TV channels, the flipping, and the different parts, the different setups. And so we've got Farouk Vinot. Is that the pronunciation you guys came to?
I was doing Farouk, but I think Farouk is kind of fun.
Did I say Farouk? It's definitely Farouk. You're right. Farouk Vinot. And so he's got this, like, this fits in really well with like a nowadays type of thing. And especially with Matt and Brennan working on the like last podcast on the left stuff. This is like a true crime junkie who's like setting up this, museum gallery. That's like, for all you true crime fans out there, we got a thing of all the greatest villains of Gotham City, including, this newly found 4 years ago. We found out this guy died. Hunter Rose, the amazing Hunter S. Rose, the gonzo journalist. That's what you said to me. Hilarious. Anyway, Hunter Rose, he did the author. So this is really cool. Like, it immediately like continues the story. Like, Hunter Rose is a part of this. And then it talks about how when he died, they took his skeleton and spread it out to these different scientists, and like they're studying it now. It's crazy.
I love the premise alone, just that there's going to be a museum and an exhibit of all the crime of Gotham, because that feels like that would have to happen. And I'm actually almost shocked that hasn't happened in a Batman story before this. It seems such a great way to kind of, it's basically Batman's Batcave in the trophy room, but for everyone in the public to see. And it's beautiful. Yeah. And like the first Batman Hunter story, I love that Hunter just fits so seamlessly into the rest of the Rogues Gallery. It's like he fills this little void that is there, and it's like, oh, he needs a guy like this, and now he has him. Love it. And
he's the poster. It says like the strangest, smartest of Batman's allies or Batman's villains or something. Like, he truly is like a match of wits on every level.
The setup that you guys described is a great way for Matt to pose this endless question about Batman his own way. Does he inspire? Does Batman's freakish nature inspire this freakish response? So it's a great way. It's a great way to frame it. I love this composition of Killer Croc Joker and a very like Mignola-esque Penguin.
And then the like almost Batman the Animated Series Batman logo there right after it. And this we also good, yeah. No, I was going to go there as well.
This interview at the bottom was with like a left-leaning activist who you think that the interview is going to go one way when she's asked about this exhibit and about Batman, because obviously like the question's always being raised, and she's like, "Oh, you wouldn't expect me to say so, but Batman saved my kid one time. What do you want? What do you want from me?"
Yeah, exactly.
I actually like throughout the story, there's like, everyone seems to have a Batman story like that. Like, yeah, actually, it's one time I first came to the city, he saved me. Everyone's like, he's all right. Like,
yeah, few people leave Gotham City without a bit of a respect for the Batman, who on Ponce the page turn, we see this glorious, glorious spread of, Matt doing a more like future Batman. This is something me and Ben and I talked about. He's doing like a Keaton era or, late 90s kind of Batman, whereas usually he's, focusing more on like a 40s and 50s kind of Batman.
Right.
Who's drawing Batman when this is coming out? Is that like No Man's Land, Alex Maleev, or
That's a good question. I don't know that. Kevin Nolan.
Post Nightfall?
Yeah.
Maybe Kevin Nolan. But yeah, it definitely has like a melding of it's like it's Tim Burton and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez like mixed together.
I wonder if that was a mandate from DC, like keep up with modern Batman or something, or if Matt was like wanted to try something to make it seem like more of the current era. I don't know.
I like to imagine that Bob Schreck is wrangling all the suits and Matt can just do whatever he wants.
So the Batmobile looks like it's definitely out of like the Schumacher movie.
It did.
Yeah,
it definitely does. So this is basically they're setting up. Chief Gordon is kind of there, and he's a little, if you believe it, a little grumbly and gruff, and he's like, I don't want to. I'm not taking all this. Why would you bring this upon our city? Rah. And this guy's like whiny around. He's like, the forces of the law, we're here. These people are sheep.
Yeah, I read this first issue for the first time, and I'm left just sort of wondering where Farouk is going to take us.
Yeah, he's definitely a loose cannon type of character.
I think as a teenager, when I first read it, I was like, "You're so fucking right, man. Like you just gotta go. You gotta get the truth out there." And now, as an adult, I'm like, "Yeah, he's gotta be stopped a little bit. Like, just chill out. Just who cares? Just you're gonna get hurt. People are gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
This is inviting trouble. Because if it wasn't Prime, like, it wasn't going to be the Joker, was it going to be someone else? Like, someone was going to hit it up.
Oh, good point. There's actually probably a line of bad guys waiting, and then Prime appears like, shit. Well, I'll wait.
Shit, okay, I ain't messing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a dude who fell on some gas. I can't.
Right.
I feel like Gordon is the one character who most consistently reminds me visually that Matt's drawing the book. He's the sort of holdover from last issue whose design hasn't changed, where Batman has had this redesign. And I think that my most memorable, my tastiest panels in this book feature Gordon, I think.
I find there's some like true like things that I look for in like Matt's bats, and there's some major like Matt Bat panels in here, and it comes from like more of the Monster Man stuff, which is after this, Ben, or before this.
Oh, that's maybe 10 years later.
Okay, yeah.
8 to 12 years after this, maybe.
Okay. So on the next page too, we get a glorious spread, which again a little bit makes me think of, like you said, Tony, the Batcave with all his treasures and the giant coin and everything like that. And here's him saying like, this is not a hall of horrors. This is like a testament to justice kind of thing. And we see right smack in the middle, we see the Grendel stuff. We see it looks like a mask. We see the true skull, and also, which doesn't get as much play, the true rib cage, the true hip bone, the true clavicle,
true femur,
yeah,
right.
The true well, no themes, but we do get a true
and the Grendel Sphinx head is Hunter's trophy from the mark he left on Gotham.
That's right. Yeah, that's really cool that they call directly back to that. I always love, and I feel like this is something you've pointed out, when bubbles go behind like a part of the thing, like they're coming through this tunnel, the bubbles behind it. I love that kind of attention to detail. I've been lettering some stuff recently, and I always have been trying to get into some stuff like that.
Yeah, Gordon's got that in the second to last panel. That's the only one I'm seeing.
That's the only one here, yeah, but
yeah, it's a very subtle patch.
Exactly. And he's walking past, Matt really does get a chance to kind of show off a bunch of different heroes and villains. Well, villains, I mean. And, they're walking past all these things. You got the Scarecrow diorama, you got the Bane diorama, you got the Croc diorama, I guess.
It's kind of cool to see Bane there, because like at this point, Bane's only like 4 or 5 years old, really, right? As a character.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. I mean,
and some of these star of the screen.
Yeah, it's true, right? Yeah, Jesse Ventura played him or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's Jesse Ventura, but no.
Was it? No, it was like
It was some other
a
wrestler guy.
Latin
Like,
wrestler guy. Or something.
Yeah.
yeah, some guy who was like, if Jesse Ventura played him, he would have like a lot more lines.
That's if in the 80s Batman they had him come in. Though he was in Demolition Man, Tony, if we can call back to our episode of
Yeah, that's very true.
Too old for this shit.
What happens here with the screw falling down, the lasers setting off the catalyst for this giant ball of energy?
Oh yeah, like Batman's standing there and he puts his foot here on the next page. He puts his foot on this kind of dome, and I think it's more than anything, it's just kind of like a red herring, or like a something that just kind of happens, and this thing falls down right after, because he's like, let's get out of here, we're done for the night, and he's punching in his numbers, setting the lasers, and it falls down, and it begins. It starts a chain reaction. Which bridges the line to the future. Yes. And Tony, I don't know if you got to read any Devil Quest recently, but they are working like under the streets of Manhattan, where this doctor is trying to like bridge the gap between Hunter Rose and the future. And so it's kind of like Manhattan is like a stand-in for Gotham. I don't know. There's this kind of thing like that.
But I did read it like a long time ago. Is that the reason why he's brought there? Because it's Hunter Rose's body, literally, like that's what's drawing.
So they're doing. So the Empire is failing, and the Paladin is on his own quest to get advice from Hunter Rose. So he gets this crazy scientist who builds a machine that distorts reality, but it's fueled on human life. So the Paladin purchases 2,000 slaves and feeds it to the machine.
Yeah,
and as one does. And he's in his orb of energy, this like communications orb. And then these two Grendel bounty hunters who are looking for the Paladiners or something come in and blast the place up, and the machinery goes haywire, and it looks like it vanishes or disintegrates the Paladin. And then he comes back when a piece of the true skull is discovered. I think there's some lore on the true skull, Tony, that you've got a better handle on than I do. Well,
I doubt that.
I don't even know. You talk about it like it's a thing, but I'm not. I feel like you know something I don't, because I don't know anything about it. So there's a piece of the true skull, and then it's like when it's in a bottle, and when the bottle breaks, this happens in reverse, and the Paladin shows up, and he's all fucked up. He's missing half his body.
Yeah. Well, the true skull comes in handy in this. And then I think maybe you're referring to like the Four Devils, One Hell, where on the cover of that, you see the true skull when it's got the big hole in the center.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big piece of iconography later on, and I kept seeing it, and I was always wondering, like, because I know he doesn't get shot in the head. I know he didn't die like that. So I was like, why is there a hole in his skull? And then I read this. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Argent rips his guts out, I think.
That's how he originally dies.
I can't wait to read it next week.
It's gonna be huge. Okay, so this big thing, it's like this huge ball of energy, and they're all just like, what the hell's going on? And then deposited there gloriously in front of this giant Grendel diorama kind of thing is just like fucking Prime right there. Ba-ba-ba! You got a big score right there as he shows up, and he's like, the devil has indeed returned to Gotham. And for a second, he's like bewildered with some Bernieisms there in the corner. They're always there.
Oh.
That's what we call these Bernie Moreau callbacks. We always see spirals and stuff.
Gordon's having some Hunter Rose PTSD. He was there when it all went down, and those ladies
lost a lot of good men.
Yeah, it's like 11 guys. And he's like, maybe I'll let you. Why is it what? I don't know. I'll let you live, Gordon.
Well, then, yeah, I mean, it continues immediately right into it as Prime thrusts his, hand blade right through this guy's neck. Doesn't like think for more than like 1 second before just like stabbing some dudes.
I think they describe it like lightning, right? Like he's that fast.
This is like Prime's body changing shape, it would seem. Like his fist becoming a.
Yeah, exactly. It seems there's no end to like the kind of shit that Prime can do with his body,
It's cool.
He's an Inspector Gadget for like for fucking up people.
Yeah. Oh, he's the Inspector Gadget of fucking people up. That's good. It's a good one right there. And
The
so he
sequence
just
at the bottom,
continues.
yeah,
Go ahead, man.
very well paced with the Batman inset. The balance of the sequences is very nice with the blue.
Yeah. It's truly like when I was reading it again today, it was just like bam, 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 like action just going on here. Here's when the like action movie shit really starts going on. The next page, he grabs a shotgun off this dude, and he's just like, ka-chong, 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 like just like blasting people. It's like, scatter, go, run. It's just
this is the Terminator
insane.
part.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so sick because, bullets can't stop him. Rockets can't stop him. They just shooting, and he's just like, it's bouncing off him. He's just looking around, blam, 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 like amazing.
Yeah, there's some parts. The digital coloring on the money shot is wild.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's a few places here where it looks very like early digital coloring. And yeah, I don't blame it for that, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Would have looked really sick with some painting, coloring behind it, but you can't blame it.
You know what's sick is the cast shadows in the high angle shot in the lower left.
Yeah, that's sick.
Double kudos on this page, colorist.
Yep. The next page too, Gordon takes a chance at him, just banging, banging, banging away, like nothing's happening except he gets one to the head, like ping. Does that kind of side angle, gets ready to blast Gordon, and you see right above the classic Batman ready to the window breaking kind of splash. Oh boy. And then another insane bat splash, a matte bat splash right here, killing it. And then, but even for like that, the first panel of the next page, Ben's got a classic like knockout there of like Grendel Prime inset on like the Batman silhouette. That's super sick. And then Prime just cracks him one right in the bat symbol. He's like, you might as well have a target right on your chest.
One of the things that Matt does in this book a lot is he does like Jay Geldof zigzag carrot rendering. Tons
of carrots.
Lots of carrots. Looking really cool. I like this one on Prime's chest as he shoots Batman in the symbol.
Oh man, it's huge. It's almost damn it, what's the word? Not charcuterie, but what's the word for like carrots and celery? It's like a French stupid word.
Churrascuro.
Well, yeah.
That means carrot, yeah.
Tons of carrots.
You're talking about crudité, or as we call it, a veggie tray.
Yeah, he's got some crudité shade.
Depending on your feeling.
Thanks, Ben. You got it. And like they still can't do it, but he's like, Gordon's like, I know you got to breathe under that thing, and he throws the gas thing on there. And next page is going through, and guess what, Gordo? He doesn't really have to breathe under there.
Honestly, I was like, Gordon, why would you assume that at this point? Like the dude is like taking bullets.
He's bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it gives him like a moment of like maybe he can radio in, but then Prime just emerges from this smoke, and he's just like, dude, I got gun here, not a thing. He's right there, gun right in Gordon's mouth. And that's when the smoke clears and we get another fanfare from the soundtrack. Pow-pow-pow! Grendel, the devil in black and white.
Is that the name of this subsection of the exhibit?
It must be, yeah.
All right. I really like the way that the smoke, when it's coming out of the canister, you can see it's got that energy, and then he steps through it, and then it eventually clears and turns into these wisps.
Yeah.
Nice choreography, Smoke.
I think he gives Prime a lot of weight in every panel you see him in. Like he always feels massive, and when he hits somebody, it just feels like there's no way anyone can touch him. He's just such a bigger figure than anyone else, including Batman, which is always tricky to do.
Yeah, the wide shoulders and the like chiseled, like everything is chiseled features. There's no like soft. Anything soft, like
what? There's a few pages back. There's I think a view of his when he shows up, his plug on his ribs.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah. It's such a weird, disgusting mystery. We've been told what's underneath his letter his leather, but we've just seen it do strange and wonderful and horrible things. His hand covered in blood and all this. So he's disgusting under there.
But what does stop him in his tracks is the true skull. But that gives Batman just enough time to come in with a swinging bat kick right to the back. And
but why is he so stunned by the true skull? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, I think wasn't part of it. He was also looking for it in the future there because it held some sort of mystery.
Do they have it? Do they have it in Devil's Quest? I can't remember.
They do.
The guy comes back. Hitchcock Blue comes back.
He has that little shard.
A piece of the true skull.
But I don't think we truly see it till Four Devils One Hell, and it
just feels like
we do see it.
Like Tony said, another one of those pieces where we're left to speculate, where it's intentionally vague, it's unreliable.
Yeah. But then this is one of those things too, where like Matt had left something untold, which was like, where does Prime go in between those two stories in Devil Quest? And then however many years later, he was like, oh, he goes to see Batman.
Tony, what do you think of the Zipatone on Prime when he gets kicked in the ribs?
I noticed that too, and I dug it, but I was like, it was kind of funny to see in this context. I wasn't expecting it, and I guess is that just Wagner, like, he's still an old school guy at this point. He's trying some new toys out, but he still likes his Zipatone and stuff. I mean, it seems like that's exactly what it is. And it's funny seeing old, like in the 90s too, still seeing Zipatone. As a kid, I don't know if I picked up on it or if I thought it looked old fashioned, but now of course I eat it up like most people. I really am curious what I would have thought if I noticed it when I was younger. Because at the time, all those Image guys I was eating up, I mean, it was here and there, but it just wasn't what I was used to.
I would love to see the original art of this page just to kind of see how it shows like that.
Right.
This silhouette of Batman diving over the inset one, which says a machine. This looks like a panel from a ongoing Batman book from the 90s to me.
Yeah. So good. On the next page, he just continues. Now he's like on the run as Prime is just shooting and shooting and shooting. And then he picks up one of these super heavy like stanchions, you see at a museum. And you're always like, this would make a great club.
And but this is a Matt Wagner panel. Like the other one is like a house style.
Yeah.
And like only Matt would be like, oh, let's find the subtle moments where he's like, where there's a seed of doubt and fear in Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And then he picks up the stanchion on the next page, just crushes Prime again, crushes him again. He's down for a minute. And then that's when, oh my man, Gordon's just like, and dude, this is insanely Matt right here. These kind of circles, these, like the not silhouette, but still super undetailed kind of stuff that we see from Matt. And then just all of a sudden Prime is like, you don't give me an inch or I will take a mile.
Yeah, shout outs to the colors for this purple and teal thing. That's really working quite well. The sequence of ultra violence with the chaotic janky ass panel borders is quite something.
Yes, just tons of bradas. Bradas.
I was gonna say brada. I love brada because it's like brada.
This is Brada.
Brada.
You like Budda? Budda? That's a good one.
Budda. Because the bullets would be as smooth as butter. And so, okay, and now here we see an inset of the dude here being like, my precious museum, all my work.
Right. Look how the sound effect bleeds off the top, gets obscured and cut off from the bleed. Very, very classy stuff. That's not something I'd expect to see in a DC comic, frankly.
Well, that's why you got Matt, who's like an auteur here, lending his hand as a hired gun for DC.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And we got these Gotham City police coming in, and Prime's like, okay, it looks almost as though he didn't just punch his whole hand through this guy's body and shield. He just has the gun still in his hand, maybe shot the full clip, and then just rams that full thing through the guy's body.
Oh, man.
I stared at that for like 2 minutes, like, is that the gun still in his hand? Like, he just is. I guess he didn't even have to, adjust his grip. It just went right through him.
Yeah, it's amazing because he still does have it in the last frame right before that. It's insane.
It's dripping with gore and it's coming out of the hole in the shield.
Oh my
That he
god!
punched
Yes.
through. So oh man, look at these! Look at the way Batman's cape breaks that. Look at the angle of the bullets and then the angle of Batman's cape. That's some, and the angle that he throws the thing at. Nice coordination.
Yeah.
Nice composition.
Yeah. And the way the white shines on the second ear too, to where it's just that one wispy line. It's just that one line. Man, sickness.
Yeah, there's a lot of like 90s Batman synthesized here. It's not, there's like Bruce Timm and like McFarlane Capullo kind of stuff with the eyes going on a lot of places.
Absolutely.
So there's like a lot of different Batman notes being hit here.
And you mentioned Nolan too. I see a lot of Kevin Nolan in there.
Definitely. And so Batman's got an idea. He's got something in the old belt for that. He throws one of these very much like Demo Man, if we're bringing it back again, like when they wreck the cars and the foam comes out. Right, so he throws this like green, power, magic is green. And
shout out to Tony's podcast, Weaned on Dynamite.
Come back for season 2 soon.
Sickness. Yeah. So then this polymer of bubbles comes up and starts overtaking him. And it's kind of like, the foam. But Prime's like, dude, I have sun power. And he just charges up. He's like, watch out for that glow inside. Pagoomba just blasts the heat out, disintegrates that stuff. And it comes at Batman. He's got his thing there.
Very cool.
Cape. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like sometimes when I look at Batman, it's hard to see the faces Batman that I love so much. That's my all-time favorite Batman. Yeah. And so I'm a little, and this era is like I was really not reading superhero books at all when this came out, I think. But when it reminds me of the Batman I love, it's magnificent.
Yeah, and that's this panel here with his cape up. I feel like
the cape, really
the
cool.
mouth and stuff. Yeah,
the hatching and stuff.
And with that, cool. Prime finds a way out and just jumps out the window. Classic, like kind of like an Epi Thatcher escape there. Just right out through the windows. He's gone.
Yeah, total action movie stuff.
Exactly. Superhero landing, punches a dude out, takes his motorcycle, a hail of bullets, and fucking sickness. And then here's where you're saying he gets into that Batman Forever style.
Yeah, the torpedo kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This inset 2 panel 3 of Batman coming out, that is very like faces Matt too,
Yeah, for sure.
Sick. Maximum speed 117 miles per hour. Yeah, he's got that computer in there. He's analyzing stuff, and then they just go.
It's more stylish. It's more stylish than classic.
The Batmobile. So
it's a balance. These two Batmans between Faces and Monster Men and Mad Monk versus this. Like this is the odd man out stylistically.
Definitely.
When did Faces come out? What year was that?
91, something like
that. I would have even said 80 something.
Oh,
92
wow.
maybe.
Yeah.
My kiddies are battling as if they're Batman Grendel back here.
That book I read when I was 12, so it's unassailable.
Right.
Yeah, I can't.
Man, and so the action just continues, y'all. I mean, now we've got a high-speed chase. He's like, he's leaving the away from the urban centers on the thing. And then Batman just shoots out a grappling hook, hits the back of the thing, the motorcycle, and he just pulls it out from under Prime. Prime flies forward under a truck. Insane. Super clear spatial storytelling. Absolutely. Giant carrots. He just lands and then goes under, and you're kind of like, where is he? The buster or the truck driver's like, oh my God, I just hit him. I didn't know what happened. He's like, get back in there right now, which, Batman is trying to save him. But again, that was like the wrong choice, because then here's Prime like.
And this is a very much like James Cameron movie. Like there's always a trucker, and he's always like, in the middle of something. And when he lifts up the truck, like it's so much fun to have Batman face off against somebody like Prime, where they're not human. They can do insane things. They can take a lot of damage. It's fun to see like the gloves come off, and it's okay if Batman tries to blow him up. It's fine. There's no morals here.
Not at all. He can let
This
completely
panel,
loose.
this panel where he's got his knee up, where it has kind of a touch of Sam Keith in it. It reminds me of the thing we would always talk about in Pat McMillen in War Child, where they weren't afraid to show the character a little off balanced or in a slightly awkward position in order to sell the moment in a more sophisticated way, as opposed to characters posing for a camera that, you know, that's not really there.
For sure. Agreed. Yeah. That's a good point, man. I loved seeing that in the Pat McMillen. Dude, what about the thing right before that, the Batman there where he's kind of like creeping under, you know, that's super Nolan-y right there, it seems like.
Yeah, well, the guys,
like
the trucker's fear is like the best part, that he's like in the background, like, spook the fuck out.
Right.
So good. And Batman kind of figures out, he's like, wait, is he lifting this thing? Or is he trying to like test the durability of this bridge? And then that's when he finds out, he just crushes himself right through, and he's like, I ain't following that giant metal man into that water. It's a death trap right there.
He's bracing himself with the truck. He's using the weight of the truck to help stomp through the bridge. Interesting.
Yeah. And so it seems like maybe he's like off balance, or he's trying to lift it, but he lifts it and then stomps down with that. Oh, I hit my mics there, but yeah, he stomps down and he's like gone, you know, into the frigid Gotham sea there.
Tony, you like this panel of him swinging on the rope, all abstract and triangular?
I do, in fact. You know, I like when Wagner does bathe things in some shadow. I mean, it's Batman. It's got to be noir a little bit. I mean, it always works. It always looks good. And also Prime too. Prime's a great silhouette. So whenever you can do a little bit of that, and especially when he brings out the spikes in his shoulders and stuff, it's a really strong silhouette. Like, I just love it. Like,
Prime also has an upside down triangle on his chest too. So not for nothing.
There you go. I technically own the character at this point then.
Dipping.
Oh man. All right. So Batman's kind of like, okay, time to regroup. He goes back to the roof of the police station by the bat symbol, and back to the roof of the museum, and him and Jim are kind of like rapping about what just happened. He's like, dude, this is not like a normal guy. He's crazed, but he's a terrorist. Like, what do you guys
World's
think
greatest
here?
detective.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. He's trying to be the devil again, I guess.
I like seeing the embossed bat symbol in the armor.
Yes, exactly. Like he blew.
That's all I think about on this page. Is like how you can like see the bolts. Like, this part protects my chest, and I made the stickers.
Shoot directly. Hey, maybe that's why he has the bright, shiny thing right there. Is because that's where he's got it. That's where he wants to get people to shoot, and that's where he's got the bulletproof vest.
Well, that's like, that's directly from Frank Miller, right? Dark Knight Returns. Like, I have a target on my chest for a reason, because he's got a plate there.
I knew I read that somewhere. Yeah.
My trade is officially falling apart. Yeah. But we didn't even, we did mention Garcia Lopez, but it is real Batman as far as I'm concerned, because it's yellow oval. We didn't even, you see that so rarely.
Yeah,
especially in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's just the bat these days. There's no yellow on his chest as much.
Right, so,
and he said it was
see that,
Hunter Rose. Yeah, that it's real Batman.
It's real Batman.
Yeah, and he's like, this is not some sort of coincidence. Like, Hunter Rose's remains brought him here, and this is a devil issue. So they go back downstairs, and they're looking at the true skull, the true clavicle, the true rib cage, the true spine, and shoot, I forgot his name already.
Farouk.
Yeah, Farouk is all. He's like,
I think he's a doctor.
He's a doctor. Dr. Farouk. Yeah. No, Dr. Vinod. Dr. Vinod. And he's just like, no, this is not stopping me. This is not going to end this thing. We're going through with this, and this just shows you how important this is.
He's a fanatic.
He's definitely a guest on Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher at this time. He's one of those guys, a talking head, like, oh god.
Yeah, exactly. And Jim's like, I don't think this can continue, and he's like, it's gotta continue. And Jim's like, this monster killed over a dozen of my people. This killed all these people. And then and then we kind of fade into the next scene, fade into some Daffy Duck cartoons.
I want to say that this channel surfing sequence is probably my favorite use of this device anywhere. Better than Frank Miller.
Whoa! Hell yeah!
That's right. That's right.
Why do you say that, and why is it?
Because it has a channel surfing feel that gives you this like zeitgeist in a very unique way.
Absolutely, and it really hits on everything, you know. And then you even got an action movie in there. You got the kind of crazy religion thing going on. You got a monster truck rally. You got what looks like what's his name? He was the vice president for George W. Bush.
Oh, Quayle.
Well, no, the second George.
Yeah.
Cheney.
That was
Cheney,
later,
yeah.
I guess.
Dick Cheney. Yeah.
And we got a
doesn't
little
like Dick Cheney.
Daffy Duck. So.
But when we get to the bottom tier, it's all business. We got footage of Prime on the motorcycle in green. Nice job, colorist.
And then that's right. It somehow leads back to the skeletal remains of Hunter Rose. Then we get these two amazing. Good.
Sorry, I still don't understand why the skeletal remains of Hunter Rose are such a big deal. Does everyone know that Hunter Rose was a mutant genius uber creature? Is that true?
I think so. They were
Devil by the Deed.
Guess so, and because of I don't know. It doesn't really.
I hope that the Masters Edition. I'd like the Masters Edition to clarify this.
Clarify that after death, his skeleton was cut up and sent to different places for study. Was he a mutant? Was he?
I just feel like I'm missing something.
Well, perhaps the Masters Edition will fill it in. We'll know in just 1 week's time. I believe that these were other pages that were in the Kevin Smith auction that happened recently. These were pages that he owned. But we see Prime found himself a nice little hiding spot in the sewers where he finds a TV down there with super Epi Thatcher style antennae there that he plugs right into his chest.
I swear, in the 90s, the sewers were this paradise as a kid. I thought, oh man, you can just live down there. There's food, TV, whatever you want.
Free
water. Do. Yeah, exactly.
All the water you need.
What's the worry? Yeah, exactly. I was led astray by pop culture.
And so was the quest was led astray. Alone and outnumbered, the warrior is forced to retreat, nursing both dwindling power and his remaining ammunition. And then, through the veil of time, the true skull appears. The signs are now obvious. An artifact of this magnitude could not have appeared by chance. The quest is neither ended nor forsaken, merely redirected.
Yes. So he sees it as it is like this foretold thing, this thing that is an act of Grendel, because in his time, again, it is a religion. So this is like an act of God.
He's got to save the Connie with whatever, with his I think that he thinks if he hangs around the bones, just like Michael Jackson had the Elephant Man's bones, that he will have a spirit. He will have further spiritual congress with Hunter Rose, and he will have a revelation that will save the Connie. Wow, that's what I think is
interesting. And again, Ben has never read this before, so that's part of the joy of these two.
I just like the conjuring of Joseph Merrick and Michael Jackson, and yeah, that's. So you think MJ was maybe trying to start his own like weird religion about the Elephant Man and just didn't take off?
This is not the first time that Michael Jackson has been relevant to Hunter Rose.
That's right. I remember that. Well, on the next page, we see Batman. He's investigating the green goo that encased his chast, and he's finding that it was singed with something that's very much like similar to that of sunspot activity. Could he be solar powered? Interesting. The world's greatest detective knows.
This is a really great example of 90s characters' eyes being white behind masks, because obviously he has magical Batman contact lenses built into the mask or whatever, but it must be really hard to see through that microscope while wearing that mask that makes your eyes invisible.
He didn't even peel his thing back in the Batcave to check it out.
Yeah, you'd think that'd be the first thing that he does when he gets home.
Yeah, exactly. Peels that mask off. Nope. All right, so on the next page, we're right here out in front of Big Johnson's Big and Tall store here. And we're like, who is this? Could this be could it be Patches O'Houlihan or whatever? Matches Malone or whatever. Yeah. So we're like, who could this be? It is
what's the name of this gang? It's not the East Side Cyclones. It's something else. The Psycho Nut Bars. I think they're mentioned on the page before.
Psycho Nut Bars. Oh, I thought it was on the next page when they're reporting about it.
Anyway, these guys show up. They obviously they must be wasted because they think that Prime is someone to be fucked with, and obviously they're mistaken.
I like that this guy talks in the first person and that his name is Terror Tummy. See now, Terror Thomases. Oh my god, amazing! And dude, this red and black coloring on Prime right here is so sick. Reminds me of the Paul Grist red Grendel that we're getting later. That Ben's also never read.
Actually, I just want like a 90s like comic book montage of biker gangs trying to fight somebody who was clearly super powered, humongous, like Pit, this Spawn, any of the. It's like just one of those like cliches, which I kind of don't ever get sick of.
No.
All these bikers in pain, they look like they're out of Mage 2. This is like sort of the cartooning direction that Matt's going to go in.
Yeah. And then he's just like, dudes, give me all your stuff. And they're like, fuck you. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. Just
give me all your motorcycles.
He's like, nah, dude. And then he holds up the giant machine gun to the dude's and he's just like, where is all your shit? He's like,
this one of him, a high angle of him driving away from the overpass is so Streets of Fire. I love it. Tony, yeah. I show my students Streets of Fire.
It's a one-of-a-kind movie.
Is that Michael Paré movie? He's in that too?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. I watched that when I was on my Michael Paré tear after you told me to watch
Eddie and the Cruisers?
Eddie and the Cruisers. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so after the flaming zombies. Oh, sorry. Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
It's all about dark side's coming and I want to get real.
Tony, I've told you my story about Beaver Brown and Robert Cafferty. I'll remind you later.
I think John Cafferty and Beaver Brown brand, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. The one and only.
The massacre of the flaming zombie gang at Bishop and Pine is what happened.
And the feud between Dr. Farouk and Commissioner Gordon knows no end. Meanwhile, Wayne Tech is going to lure the Paladin by publicly announcing big whatever you need, Prime solar charging, whatever it is. Come to Wayne Tech. Break into Wayne Tech.
The trap is set.
You know, I actually always do appreciate if a writer can figure out a way to make Bruce Wayne part of the story or Wayne Tech something. It's like, yeah, you leverage your friggin' empire. Just do something. It's always kind of, I'm impressed.
Is there a Bruce Wayne subplot in this story at all? Is there ever a scene where he takes off his mask?
I was gonna say, I think he keeps the mask on, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of think he does. Yeah.
No, not like because like the last one there was so much Bruce Wayne. There was a lot of Bruce Wayne Hunter Rose stuff, but probably because there's no alter ego with Prime.
Right.
There's no match. Yeah, exactly.
It's such a different story, and this one's so 90s action. It really is like a statement about like James Cameron in maybe a similar way that War Child is, but War Child has more like Lone Wolf and Cubs the same thing, I guess. I don't know, because they're in the desert and all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Well, the trap is set and the scheme is afoot here, and Batman's got some a nice little eye piece on here. He's got some listening gear, and he's up in the towers again, listening for when Prime's gonna come. But who comes first is Glenn Minamoto, who's a workaholic trying to get some late night hours in with the tech.
Yeah, Batman
Stylish
knows.
Young man.
Yeah, Batman knows this guy.
Yeah,
he loves that he has this guy who works, at 11 p.m. in his building where no one's there. He's like, this guy's good enough. I'm Batman. Wayne, do what you will. Glenn. Ooh.
Yeah. And so he hasn't seen Prime go in yet, but like I guess Prime's already in there. So we see Glenn going in there, and he comes across a man in a trench coat. He's like, oh shit, who is moving with the steely grace that only a machine could. And Glenn can recognize that because he's like a technophile.
He's watched Terminator like 3 times. He knows, like, that's probably a robot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
Tony,
definitely.
You see that triangle in that last panel?
I felt it deep down inside me.
Prime reveals in this inset that there's a zipper on the base of his neck that goes up
super
up
sexy.
To his gimp strap.
Mm-hmm.
It basically is like makes the gimp suit subtext text. It's like, no, this is a kinky dude.
So he's building something. What is he building in there? That's
Tom Waits. Nice.
Yeah,
what is he building in there?
What's that from? I'm man enough to know. I don't know.
Tom Waits mule variations, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
one of my favorite like Halloween songs because it's just creepy enough and sets a weird like setting kind of thing. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, just like a spoken word Tom Waits.
Exactly.
My book has absolutely just fallen apart.
Oh, no. Okay, so we're like, okay, what is he working on here? This definitely looks like that not only in one day was Bruce Batman able to set this trap into the news, but he was also able to like maybe have some sort of solar panel thing ready. Prime plugs it right into the back of his head there and tries to turn it on. Access denied, access denied, access denied. And it looks kind of like Prime just keeps hitting enter to see maybe like, will it allow him in? Or
he says something. The code will eventually break. He's very optimistic guy.
And he's like, okay, don't shoot. Because he knocks a pencil over as he's creeping around. And he's like, don't worry, like, I can help you. He gives like a super techno babbly response, and then Prime's just like, do it. Oh, this is sweet. He's like, I can help you. And then on the next page, he goes in and he starts crackling away, transfer sequence complete, ready, and he starts it up. And so Prime starts getting some sun power. Like, this isn't like something fake. Like, Bruce kind of had this thing ready already, which seems weird.
No, my headcanon says Superman. He had some like sort of plan to fuck up Superman with solar stuff. He had it on the back burner. He's like, I'll just kind of transfer that over here.
Interesting. Yeah. He throws a like electromagnet netting over top of Prime that, when electrified, like connects magnetically to this metal floor, and it's a steel mesh to constrict down upon him.
I have a question. Prime was building like essentially an adapter for whatever to plug it to him. That's what I feel like. Yeah. Okay.
He had a dongle. He had to build a dongle, and then once they connected it, put it right in.
Sidebar: dongles. We all agree that dongle's the best word for that, and I can't believe we did that as a people.
What's a dongle?
It's like goes from like USB to USB-C or something like that. You plug your USB and then it.
What's a dongle? What's a true skull? I don't know what's going on anymore.
the true dongle.
The true dongle.
I really love this net. When it happened, it's like when he slices through it and it's in the shape of a pyramid, it's so cool. And when it bursts, the tension and release, it's exquisite.
Yeah. Talk. And then on the next page, he's like trying to get out. So maybe he didn't build a dongle, maybe he built a lightsaber. So he found some.
Oh, he's building his own lightsaber. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, he found some kyber crystals hidden at Wayne Enterprises. And then he cuts the ties, dongle still in, and arises with his Rasta dreadlock neck headband there.
So into it, like it's like he's gonna go to Ozfest. He's gonna fuck shit up. He's gonna.
Oh man,
yeah.
He's ready.
His chest is very big. It's
very big.
He looks. I really love this sound effect. There's a lot of stuff going on with the sound effect on the next page as we get elements like overlapping and it's transparent in the beginning, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty sure his ponytail thing, he's like opening for Sepultura now. Like he's prepared to do it. But I the lightsaber stuff, that's really fun. I mean, obviously that's a holdover from previous books, but
Yeah.
Have you talked to Wagner about that? He just like, I fucking like lightsabers. So I'm gonna put one in there.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's what he said, dude.
That's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, lightsabers rule. It's a laser sword.
Yeah.
That's
the future of swords. And a play on the fencing thing, probably of
Right.
Hunter, you know?
Yeah,
Batman uses the torn up shit that he knows the net. It's an electromagnetic net, not shit.
Right.
Excuse me. He knows that the thing isn't going to work, but he uses it anyway. He's so brave. It's what a hero.
And that final
take.
Batman, brave and bold, actually.
Yep.
Dude, that final panel where he's got the that is so, like some of the best Matt
and the shitty netting in the other hand in the background.
Oh my god. Continuing, dude, and this spread obviously on the next page is glorious, akin to that one in the library of Hunter and Batman. Just so sick.
Yeah, it's interesting that like the both light sources are cool, like green and blue. The way it hits his ribs with the cross hatching is pretty cool.
Yeah, cross hatching like over the
carrots. Yeah, it's really interesting.
So sick. Wish I had a giant poster of this. Then on the next page, the battle rages as Batman uses his the netting to short circuit the lightsaber. Swift kick to the face, swift punch to the face, gets him in a choker hold, and then that's when Prime just like clink, just like snicks out a couple of his spikes, just pierces Batman's entire body, breaks his arm, broken ulna. Severed brachial artery. He broke that brack.
And Batman's listing the things that he's breaking. It's such a it's pretty rough. It's like, yeah, that's my part of my body. Ooh, that's really gonna mess me up for the weekend. It's just like no tennis.
Yep, that's gonna leave a mark.
In Devil's Odyssey, he uses the shoulder stuff to fly. Is that what?
Yeah.
Always different. He's always changing this Prime.
Yeah, and then in Odyssey, they're like solar sails that come out of his body or something like that. And then here we go. Somewhere in hell, the soul of Hunter Rose begins to laugh as this broken and beaten Batman is being held by Rasta Prime.
Yeah, the way he desaturates and sort of like loses detail in this sequence as he gets his ass kicked is really nice.
I will say, oh shit, I completely forgot. I will say this is a piece that I purchased from the Kevin Smith auction. And so that is a piece in my personal collection here. That final page, absolutely insane.
You know, it's a nice coloring touch on this page is Prime's eyes have a nice halo and gradient on them. Looking very nice.
In that final page there?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Have a look.
Oh, Prime's got that like blue shine going on. And then
this is the last page of the issue. Is that the deal?
Yeah. Last page of issue 1.
Maybe I read more. Maybe I don't remember if I read ahead or not. Oh.
Well, 'tis where we will leave it for this week. But we'll come back next week for the thrilling conclusion of Batman Grendel 2. Same Bat Grendel time, same Bat Grendel channel.
Tony, say some famous last words.
I will say, the next issue has my favorite sequence in the entire book. There's a really fun thing with Prime's anatomy that happens. That I actually wish it went on for 3 more pages or something because it's just so much fun.
Yes. And as we end every episode, go ahead, Tony.
Delvina Grendel.
And keep on Grendeling.